My first guest, the first one on Follow Focus, is someone who I've been familiar with for a pretty short amount of time, but we've worked together on so many projects. As videographers, we think alike, we work differently in different ways and situations, but I'm really glad to have videographer and music video director Chris Young, man. Thanks for being on the show, Chris.
Hey, like I said, appreciate it, man. I'm honored to be the first one on this podcast. And like I told you, man, you got to give yourself a pat on the back for making this happen, man. Like it's a step in the
I
right direction. You're doing big things. You're expanding. You're really growing. So it's inspiration for me. So appreciate you for having me here.
Oh no, like I said, I appreciate you. We appreciate each other, but I want to start this episode off by telling people how we met because we actually met online during Instagram during the pandemic.
Right.
I'm gonna keep it short, but when I was editing my web series, Have a Good Day, I had all my clips ready to go, but I was missing something. And I was like, man, I need something that's gonna draw more attention than just, the acting. The acting was great, but I
Right.
need something extra. And I was like, man, I need some drone footage. And
That's what they
and
say.
so what'd you say?
So that's what they say. Man, I need some drone footage.
No, seriously, I needed some drone footage because I never had drone footage. Like I had B-roll, which was cool, but I
Yeah.
think drone footage just added a little bit more element to the show, which it did. So I went on Instagram, y'all, and I actually went to the search bar and searched for Atlanta or ATL drone or ATL drone, operator, whatever. And I had three people that I messaged after I saw their work on Instagram. It was two of the guys, of course, and it was you. I messaged the first guy first, and then I actually messaged you second. And I was waiting for a couple of days, and you were the first person to respond. I was like, "Hey man, I just need some drone footage. How much you charge? What's your budget?" He's like, "This is what I charge." And I said, "Cool, no problem." Paid you. Videos went great. And I think after that, when the series was finished, when I was finished editing it, well, the drone footage, you saw it and you were such impressed by just how the drone footage looked. And you're like, man, so we started talking more. And you told me, it's like, Chauncey, I do more than drone, right? I was like, oh, really? My bad. I ain't trying to insult you. But it's like, no, I do way more than drones, man. I'm a videographer here in Atlanta as well, too. But that's really how we met. And like I said
Yeah.
earlier in the beginning of the intro of the show, we just really just bonded just by talking to each other on the phone.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. And like I'm thankful for number one for like both of us for just being able to put ourselves out there like that and being able to collab because you can find that as a roadblock trying to get work done and other people not wanting to collab, other people not being receptive. So I've always just had the mentality of put myself out there and I'm willing to work with whoever is willing to work with me if it can be a good healthy work environment, and you definitely provide that. So that was the start of it. But we did a lot more since then that the people don't know about, or maybe they do know about. But I'm just happy to like have gotten the experience of working with you and your brand and everything. So, and that was a good experience, the drone experience. Like when I saw the footage, I think when I saw the footage, like I couldn't even remember that I shot it. I was like, did I do that? That shit look crisp. Like, did I do that? I'm like, no, that must be spot on.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't even remember that.
And
But yeah,
because of the drone, yeah, because of the drone footage too, like a lot of people's like, man, you added, because I, shot the show twice, of course, but
yeah,
everyone's like, man, like this drone footage added a little bit, a little juice to the show. So I'm really glad about that because you drove pretty much around Atlanta, just getting so much shots. Like, man, how much did it do get? So you gave me so much enough to work with. But let's talk about your beginnings because everyone has a beginning and everyone has just a process to get to a different level. I mean, what inspired you to be a videographer? Because videography is not easy. How'd you get started, man?
um, it may be kind of similar to most people, or to some people. Like I did the hands-on approach, and so when I was maybe 12, 13, I just had a little small camera. It took pictures, so I shot a lot of pictures, but it also did video. And it was like therapy for me. Like in my household, it was just a lot of noise, a
Mm,
lot of things that I needed help with in my family and everything. So for me, just to be able to pick up that camera, shoot something, go in my room, put in my headphones and open up that editor and just be able to distract myself from what was going on in my home and being able to dive into this world, like I felt like I was in another world. And so I started off with Windows Movie Maker, just learning
Oh man.
how to cut,
Whew.
put sequences together and add some music, So I would shoot anything, if there was a project at school in high school that the teacher said, hey, y'all need to do a video project, a group project,
Mm-hmm.
y'all needs to be a video. I would easily like volunteer to shoot it, to edit it. Back then, I would even star in it, so I have to get somebody else to hold the camera for me sometime, and then but I usually put the whole thing together, and that's where I fell in love. And so went to college. I went to college for something totally different, but I still had that passion. And so, of course, when my friends started rapping, shot my first music
Mm-hmm.
videos. That was fun. Probably knocked out like 6, 7 music videos just in a short amount of time. Just made $100 here, a couple hundred there. But I loved it. I loved being able to flex that skill. I taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. I started getting distracted in college. I say, I'm gonna put this video stuff down. When I'm done with college, I'm gonna double back because I know that's what I want to do. But for right now, I got to put it down. Graduated, got into my other career, and probably like 2018, I bought myself a drone before I even had a regular camera.
Oh
so
wow. Okay. Just off
so
of
I,
that, what was the first camera? What was the first camera?
first camera I owned was Lumix G7. But
Okay.
just the previous years being in college and stuff, I would borrow my friends' cameras and stuff to shoot their videos and stuff like that. And I don't even remember the camera I had when I was young, just a little piece of crap that just could record something. But that's how you start. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, for
Got
sure.
I think when you hired me, I didn't even have the camera yet. I still had the drone, so
Really?
I was
Oh,
making
okay.
money. I was still just flexing that skill because that drone, you hit record, it's an aerial shot, but it's the same concept. So I would shoot, full videos, just a few, not too many in the industry, but just passion projects. And finally got the camera and I opened up business in maybe 2019, got my
Mm-hmm.
LLC and all that. And I know I want to work with, almost everybody and with every type of project. So that's what I've been doing since then. And I'm still growing, trying to scale as much as I can.
So you pretty much over 10 years in, right? You would say
Yeah,
so? Mm.
off and on about 10 to 15 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Off and on,
And
but pretty consistently for the past 5 years or so, 5, 6 years.
you mentioned so much because you started out doing music videos. Of course, you've done highlight videos, but can you walk us? Because us as videographers, we have a different type of explaining things for the common listener. So, can
Yeah.
you walk us through like a creative process when you're planning a video shoot?
Well, it differs. Ideally, when I'm working with a client, when I'm working with an artist, just like you probably, we like to have that
Mm-hmm.
treatment. So we
Mm-hmm.
like to have a storyline. We like to have, preferably props if needed. Not every music video needs props, but props,
Yeah.
locations, a story, something other than, I may be a little biased, but something other than the run and gun. That's what I prefer. So I prefer something with a story. So when I'm working with the artist, I try to help them do that. Not every artist wants that. Not every artist
Mm-hmm.
wants a budget for that, or it just depends on the context. But one way or another, I try to, of course, collab with the artist to get that idea of what this song is about and the theme is about onto a visual. And so, yes, the pre-production phase is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Planning, I'll take it upon myself to go around Metro Atlanta or wherever the video is at to scout locations, to reach out to people, to reach out to talent, to see if I can, get them to want to be in the video if it calls for it. Of course, shoot the video. That can range from, just having my basic equipment. I won't call it basic, but, I don't have everything. I have enough to
It's
make a
simple.
song.
It's simple. It's simple. Yeah.
To renting, further equipment, renting, I've been renting the Red camera. I think you know about that. I love
Mm-hmm.
using that
Yeah, I saw it. Mm-hmm.
camera, lighting. hiring other professionals. I think generally speaking, the more you can invest into your project with the budget, I think you have an overall better project. Not to say that projects that don't have a big budget can't blow or are not quality. But I think generally speaking, when you bring on other people, other professionals, you can get more professional equipment that provides for a better quality. And that's my goal. Like I want a professional look as much as I can. And so, shoot it, production, post production, edit it, the editing process. Hey, sometimes, I knock it out in 24 hours. Sometimes I might knock it
Hmm.
out in 24 days, if I'm being honest. It just kind of depends on my workload. It depends on the project. It depends on me and the client's communication. Depends on if we're, again, if we have the same mindset about the end goal and everything. And 9 times out of 10 comes out pretty good. And me and the artist or me and the client, whatever project I've been working on, we're satisfied with it. And, we continue to do business for the most part. I've had my trip ups, I've had my faults. It's a learning process for me. I always just try to do better. Um, but I like it, man. I like being creative. This is what that skill set of being creative is something I've been exercising since I was a kid. And I got to use it one way or another. Like that's what helps me. Like that's what helps me get through the
Hmm.
day and everything. So I love it, man, and I love working with different brands. I don't just do music videos. I do business promotions and commercials. I do events. I've been getting into weddings more, thanks to you for weddings. Few weeks
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
but I'm trying to get that portfolio up. I do, modeling. I do, pretty much everything except that stuff you see on C-SPAN channel.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. The politics stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah, we do, yeah, panning the camera and stuff on politicians.
yeah. I have
But
my fair share of those too. Yeah,
yeah, I like,
but
I do want to get more into filmmaking and everything, kind of like you, with storylines and feature films and all that.
because videography is so broad, because you said so much, because I went through the same thing. And even though I seen you work by yourself, sometimes videography is a clever effort, not only with
Yeah.
the client, but sometimes you need some assistance. So you know how do you even manage collaborating a project with a team if you even had that experience before? Like how did you manage that?
I have had it a few times, but I do find myself most of the time ended up working on my own.
Hmm.
Not to my preference, but again, that's a lot of times because client may not have a budget to hire a whole team. When I
Hmm.
do have the opportunity to bring other people on, though, I do. And I have a lot of the people I have brought on and or that I would bring on. I already have a relationship with them for the most part. Most everybody, like if I need something for the most part, I have somebody I can go to, whether it's another camera person, whether it's somebody who does lighting, whether it's somebody who is just a PA, whether it's somebody who even I just need to take behind the scenes of me for my own marketing or whatever. Like I have go-to people. I have go-to people that I ask for mentorship or ask for, some certain gems, even like yourself. Like I've had to pick your brain several times. And, there's people that I value in this industry that I've seen, kind of work from the ground up as well. So, and not to knock anybody that went to film school or anything like
Hmm.
that. Um, that's not the route I take. And most of the people that I know in this industry, they didn't take that route as well. So it's kind of like we have that same mentality, that same drive to take what we know, what we may have already known, build on that, learn from it, go to YouTube University, pick other people's brains. I think just hands-on experience is the best teacher. So even doing that, like, we have that certain drive to start with something and make it big, whether it's a project or whether we're talking about the scaling of our whole business. So yeah, I have future goals of being a film director. I even call myself that because anything with the camera I want to do. I don't consider myself just a videographer. Just show up and just shoot this. I have experience with directing. I want to continue to work that skill, and so there's definitely other people and professionals in this industry who I admire, who I study up a lot. Some of them I haven't met, but a lot of them I have met, such as yourself and my boy High Def. He's definitely a pivotal part, a pivotal player in my development. My guy High Def, his real name Amp. But there's definitely a few people that I look up to in this industry and that I can call on and either be a part of their team or they'll be a part of mine.
Chris, you're giving me so much, man, because it's amazing because I could tell how dedicated you are. And also, I do have my degree at YouTube University, so I do have my degree as well too, man. So
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're out there as a videographer, don't be afraid to go to the class on YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned something important too that I take very seriously. That's feedback and mentorship. I have a mentor myself when it comes to, I mean, videography and film, but you know, you mentioned your go-to when it comes to critiques. How important is critiques when it comes to your work ethic and actually putting a video out for not only for yourself but for or a client?
Um, I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance. And matter of fact, I've had the theory like on these platforms, they actually need to bring the dislike button back. Tell me how you really feel. Like when I publish something, if you don't like that joint, hit the
Right,
dislike
yeah,
how you really
right.
feel. It may
I don't
sting
mind
a
the
little.
dislike button, man. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
like it
understand
may
that.
sting a little bit, but
Hmm.
I value that, like, to an extent, because you have to still, other people's opinion matter, right? Because you get that feedback, you get that criticism. They may say, especially people who have more experience than you, they say, "Hey, man, you could have did this better. Uh, the lighting wasn't that great. The scenes
Hmm.
and transitions, maybe, or something with the directing or anything like, or even the fans. They just be like, I just don't like this project."
Hmm.
So you take some of that into consideration, but you also, I think it's a balance because you have to also be happy with the work and the growth, the work that you made and the growth that you've had in yourself as a creator, as a videographer, film director. So I know where I've came from, and I even before I had that camera, like I was shooting on just an iPhone. I was making whole music videos and event
Oh
recaps
man.
on an iPhone and stuff. So like I've really had some levels of you know growth, like progression, and I want to get bigger and stuff. And even just the editing process. I don't know everything about color grading, even though I've been in this game for several years. There's still a lot of things like I just don't. I'm not great at yet, but I am still happy with where I've come from, where I'm going. I like most of my work. Some projects I put out, and I'm like,
Ain't
man,
no
I
shame.
don't know,
Ain't
yeah,
no
I might
shame.
edit this or something. But you have to feel confident in yourself as a creator and also as a business person as well, because this is, for at least for me and you, this is not just a hobby. Well, it is a hobby, but we turn it into a business. We're doing what
Yeah,
we
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
we doing what we like, but there's certain ethics and practices that come with that you have to apply and be abreast on and everything. There's certain sacrifices you have to make, and it's not just about you. And that's why I say that the feedback, and I think that the feedback from other people does matter, especially when you're working for other
Hmm.
people. So can't just totally disregard what somebody else says. If I like, there's been situations where I like a project, 100%. The other client is like, "Man, what is this? Like, did you even try?" I'm like,
That
"I
lazy edit. Yeah, that lazy edit. They're
no
not.
idea how much I tried. I've been up
Yeah.
all night
Uh-huh.
every night for this whole week." But you try your best to provide. That's where that customer service comes in. You try your best to provide,
Hmm.
good customer service. And again, sometimes you gotta go back to the drawing board and with the client and say, "Hey, okay, well, where do we mess up? How can we make this the best that it can be?" And a lot of times, that after you just shot something, there's only so much you can do to fix it.
For sure. Oh yeah.
Unless the
You're not a
client wants to
magician.
get
Hey,
back
you're not a
into it.
magician, bro. People think
Yeah,
editors and film videographers are magicians. Hey, there's so much that we can do. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to just point that out, man.
yes, yeah. There's only so much, and we'll do it to the best. And one thing I've learned, and I definitely recommend anybody who's doing this as a business is go ahead and start drawing up some contracts and distributing the contracts because not every situation you're gonna need one. Not every clientele is gonna, you're gonna have those conflicts with, but a contract really does help, and I'm starting to learn that now because it highlights the expectations of myself as a service provider and of the client as well, because there's certain expectations that they have to meet, certain things that they have to understand, and it's, say, hey, I definitely want to meet your goals, but I'm not re-editing this thing 10 times. And
Oh,
hey,
mm,
you want to pay me like I'm finna re-edit it 10 times, but I gotta move on when things get pushed back because other clients waiting for their stuff. Again, there's responsibility on me too. There's some responsibility on me as a provider, but like you said, like they don't understand that we're not magicians. Can everything be fixed? Editing itself takes time. I think people think you just shoot the video, you go home and press one button, and the thing is
mm,
just come out. And it take time. It take time. It take creativity. It
mm-hmm.
takes vision, to get the best
Patience.
patience. It take to get the best product. Communication, if you need further communication with the client. So customer service is definitely a big skill set that you need to have when operating this business and understanding business principles and everything. And so um, I, when you have those, I think you'll be as successful and get a mentor. Like we said before, have a mentor or study somebody, study some practices. Again, YouTube University. If you don't have access to anybody personal in the industry, we're in Atlanta though. I always tell people like I feel like Atlanta is like just black mecca. Like it's
Yeah,
just so
yeah,
much
it is.
opportunity out here for especially in the entertainment industry. So it's kind of up to you to make sure you go and put yourself out there, or if you're not the type to go to events in person or just go out, just understand how to have a strong online media presence. You got to believe in your brand. You got to be consistent. There's going to be times when you may feel like your content and the work you're doing is flying on the radar, not being appreciated and not being seen, and nobody. Let me tell you something, man.
Go ahead, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You're saying so much, bro.
2020,
Go ahead.
2023 is definitely like been a year that's been like a little different than the previous years when it comes to consistency and when it comes to booking again, because this is a business. Like I use this to help pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And the weirdest thing, dog, the weirdest thing, 2023, I may have only received like one inquiry on both my Instagram pages. I have two Instagram pages where I've marked
Mm-hmm.
myself. I've only received like one inquiry in my DMs all 2023. Now, to the listener, it'd be like, okay, what is it? Okay, that's particularly strange because we're talking about 2022, 2021, 2020.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting, I'm getting 5 inquiries, sometimes per day, but definitely per week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I haven't even got one this whole year. So that's a challenge because it's like, again, like I said, like I'm using this business to help pay my bills. But if I'm not getting any inquiries, I'm not getting as many bookings. I therefore am not getting the profit that I want to make. So to me, that just means, okay, I have to be more creative about how I market myself. I have to look at different platforms. And one thing I say about this social media stuff is great because it's been free for years. We've been, all businesses have been able to put themselves on these platforms and market. But I'm not necessarily mad at the fact that we have to pay for ads and stuff like that. Like we've been so
Me
spoiled
neither.
to
Yeah,
have
me
this stuff
neither.
free, and we don't own these platforms. And so I got a website now, directoryoung.com. Y'all make sure y'all check it out, directoryoung.com. But I just started thinking like kind of like last year, like, man, I really need to expand. I need to find more ways to market. And it's something that hasn't been done yet, but even like studying the Google SEO, like that's something that I have to start. studying and understanding how to show up in the search engines when somebody search on Google for Atlanta videographer, Atlanta film director, Atlanta wedding video, something like that. So just always being abreast on the market, being knowledgeable about what clients want, what the industry is doing, the direction the industry is moving in, being flexible. And like I said, I think one of the biggest skill sets to have or things you have to be willing to do is be consistent. You just got to be consistent. You know, my methodology is I try to shoot as much as I can the project itself, make as much content around that itself, whether it's screen grabs, whether it's trailers for a music video, whether again it's hiring somebody to come and shoot behind the scenes of me. I can
Mm-hmm.
use that to market myself. Like I think every little piece of content matters, and the clientele themselves. Like I think it's a variety, but I think some of them appreciate like not just seeing the final product, but seeing how it came together as well. So that's why I do that behind the scenes type stuff. I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I don't consider myself photogenic. I don't care to really be on camera like that. But I'm just
I,
like you should see me in pictures, bro. I just suck at pictures. I suck at like, I'm
yeah.
probably been doing this right now, on cameras, not just playing.
Hey man, but it sounds good and looks good because Chris, I just really appreciate you just being honest and transparent because you know, as a videographer, you mentioned something that you have to market yourself. Like
Yeah,
Instagram is your best friend and your worst enemy. You have to utilize it. The hashtags, I utilize that. Like I dropped a video yesterday where I was originally supposed to just shoot an audition, but it was so much going on that I said, "Man, I got this stuff going on. I got to capture this." So I'm glad I did because, and just an example of what you're saying, the owner of the studio was like, "Man, this video looks clean." So it's just not being lazy. You have a camera in your hand, you're not doing anything with it. What are you doing? You're wasting your camera. You're actually not putting value in your camera. So, earlier you actually mentioned editing. That's another element where some people are strong at, some people are weak at. It's not even a bad thing. It's just a learning process because it's like a metronome going like back and forth. It's like your mind is always ticking.
yeah.
Talk about just your learning because you edited for a long time, but talk about just the editing process than just shooting. Shooting, we talked about that. The editing process is just as important because I direct to edit, I write to edit, I shoot to edit, of course, produce to edit. I mean, talk about just the editing process specifically so people
And
can understand.
that's a good skill set to have to shoot, to edit, and I feel like that takes a certain eye and vision to be able to get to that point. I would say sometimes I shoot in that manner, but other times I like to overshoot. Generally speaking, I like to overshoot because when I do go to edit, I like to make sure I have enough to play with. That's my personal preference. I like to make sure I have enough to play with. Um, you know, the goal is to get the vision. I would say for me, like I have a certain style. They've nicknamed me Cinematic Chris out here because they'd be like, "Man, your joints look a little cinematic. They look quite
Yeah,
cinematic."
yeah, yeah. I've said that to you, but it's like, dang, Chris, what did you do? You told me
Yeah.
the secret. I ain't gonna tell nobody. That's between you and I. But
Oh yeah, yeah. See,
yeah, yeah.
hey,
It worked out for me though.
I'll give it to y'all one time. I'll give it to y'all one
Okay,
time.
if you want to, go ahead and tell
One
them.
secret, one little gem.
Okay,
Neat video. That's all I'm gonna
Google it,
say.
y'all. Neat video.
Google it.
Thank us
That's it.
later.
The only time y'all get it this time. Neat video. That's just one little trick I got up my sleeve. Man, like I especially in the music video industry, it's changed. And I don't know if it's because everything is like so fast and like, just there's a new artist every single day or whatever. But and I don't know if it's the style of music, but like for example, everything is about effects nowadays. Not everything, but like that's a whole like style. And I've just never really cared for that too much. And so I've there's a few like music video directors who are industry that I've kind of like been inspired by.
Hmm.
And like I said, I like a good project that has a storyline. And I feel like if you have a good storyline, You don't need effects. I feel, I feel like a lot of those effects are, some of them are nice. There's some dope videographers out here that do some good effects,
But
but I
sometimes
feel like
overkill.
it's overkill, it's oversaturated, and I feel like people feel obligated to do it because everybody else is doing it.
Mm.
I don't move like that. I feel like it's always good to do what you want to do. Be an anomaly. It's always good to be an anomaly, and separate yourself. And so while everybody's doing effects, I'm still trying to keep my videos clean. Shoot, man, I barely even do a cross dissolve on my transition. Everything is like a hard, everything is like a hard
Yeah,
cut. I throwing the cross dissolve, but that's
it works for
and
you, man. It does. It does.
And there's one other thing that like I read somewhere, and I don't know if I kind of just naturally did this or it inspired me to. I can't even remember, but I've been doing it for years now. So when people are editing videos and you have the music, they tend to be very like anal with making cuts with the
Mm.
beats. So whether that's a bass hit, whether that's a snare hit, a drum kick. So I've learned over time that your videos become predictable whenever I can tell when you're about to cut because I already hear the beat, the melody of the beat. So when I'm watching the video, I already know you're about to cut. You about to cut on this next hi hat, ain't you? Like, so I've learned over time it's better to kind of just, I don't know how to explain it. I just edit how I want to. I make my cuts. A lot of time I edit before I have a song in mind, but I'm not
Hmm.
really editing to the song. There's still a vibe, but it's just a way that like you're not as predictable. I'm not cutting to every hi hat to every kick. You'll find there's a lot of music videos and stuff. Some of them, but you got to be unpredictable. Like some of them, you cut to a hi hat or a kick, but you got to be unpredictable. And so that's kind of like that's the theme. That's basically what I'm saying is try to be
Yeah.
unpredictable. Have a certain style, but keep them guessing is what I would say, and that's kind of what keeps your videos interesting, and more people come back to watch them again. And so some people hit me up, and like, man, Chris, I really like your work. Like, I guess I don't know if that would be considered fans, but they watch consistently my work, and I appreciate that. And I like making work that people enjoy. There's people that are fans of videographers and film directors more than they are of the artists. They
Mm.
watch their videos based off of who shot it. At least I know I'm like that. There's certain people I go to, I know I'm gonna get a good video when I watch their stuff. So in a nutshell, the editing process, it can magic could be made there, or you could have shot something great, and if the edit don't come together, and I've done it before, I've been guilty,
Hmm.
and look
Same.
back like, man, what is this? Like, or the client be like, man, what is this? Very rarely,
Those are the
but
worst. Those are the worst. Yeah, yeah.
it does happen, and it can be frustrating. You got to learn how to deal with that, like especially if you have faith and confidence in what you just edited, what you shot and edited, or just edited, because in this business, just like I did a video for you the other day, I shot it, but you're gonna edit it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, my sister loved the video, the wedding video. She said it
oh,
was
nice.
clean.
So
She did. I
are you
talked to her this
done?
morning. So, huh?
You edit? You done editing?
Yeah, I did that last week, bro.
Oh shoot, I can't wait to see it. Then. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
I'll send
some.
it to you. I'll send it
Yeah,
to you. I'll send it to you.
but yeah,
Yeah, she was pleased.
there's times in this industry where because you delegate other jobs out, just like you, since you're growing and everything. You spend more of your time directing and coming up with concepts versus spending so much time behind the camera yourself, flying the drones. I think you still do a lot of your editing, but I understand what you're doing and where you're going and how you're growing, and so you may not do everything from start to finish by yourself. To each their own who can do that. And me personally, I like doing that sometimes, but I also understand that other times there are needs to hire other people,
Hmm.
and
And,
to really help you scale if you're trying to scale.
and you know what, Chris? I swear that we're so in sync because when you end in something, I'm leading up to something else that I already had a question to ask you anyway.
Yeah.
Um, Delegation, because me, like I said, I was just shooting, but now I'm kind of working with guys like yourself. Shout out to Charlie Jones, Jeff Killens, Aaron Geegan, people that we work with and work with and shoot with. I want to briefly talk about working with Kim Starks, with Blue Scorpion, because you started with us last spring. I think it was last spring or something like that. Talk
Yeah.
about your experience, because you're not really shooting music videos. You're just shooting highlight videos for clients that are not really a conventional way of shooting. How you usually shoot. Because mostly those are business owners, especially farm tours that we usually do. Talk about your experience so far working with Blue Scorpion, man, because you've been traveling too. Like, you've been gone.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Miss Kim, owner, CEO of Blue Scorpion. That was an opportunity presented to me, I guess, by you because of
Hmm.
the referral, and you brought me on, and I value it because Blue Scorpion is, I guess, in a nutshell, kind of like a marketing agency, business
Hmm.
development agency, and so businesses themselves need individuals, professionals like us who are able to put that vision that they have or that idea about their product or service into a video or image. I'm not sure if we have any. I'm sure we have some photographers at Blue Scorpion, but of course,
Yeah,
me
we
and
do.
you.
Yeah, Jeff. He's a photographer mainly, but he does both photography and videography.
So we do the video. So I value that because, again, I'm just trying to scale. And so again, to me, I'm looking at it like, man, like, I was doing, I was doing commercials with this iPhone at one time, and now I'm with an agency.
Hmm. Right, 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 right.
Works with clientele that is on a larger scale. They have bigger budgets. The networking is amazing. The experiences are amazing, man. Like probably my most they've all been fun, man. Like we did a video game event
Yeah, yeah. Virtual
here,
reload. Yeah, you
here in
traveled,
Atlanta.
man. Hey, man.
Yeah,
I've been happy for you. Like, Chris, get that mileage, bro.
yeah. Well, we did one here in Atlanta. Remember,
Hmm.
I guess both of them were tournaments, but we had
Yeah,
like an
yeah. They were turn. Yeah, both were tournaments. Yeah.
Blue Scorpio also sent me to, I think, North Carolina and did a event there, which was amazing. Just the people that you meet, man. Like besides being behind the camera, I just love talking to them and hearing their stories and hearing them talk about what they're passionate about. So it was a video game slash like anime convention up in North
Hmm.
Carolina, but just seeing how these guys like they started from just a basic idea and not having many resources and just being consistent
Hmm.
and growing, and now they have a whole day where the whole town, I think it's like Greenville, South Carolina, something
Yeah,
like
South
that.
Carolina. Yeah, yeah.
Whole town just comes out, and you got a video game tournament for everybody passionate the games, and you got people dressed up in Iron Man suits and Spider-Man suits for the anime and the superhero lore and everything. So it's been great at Blue Scorpion, and Miss Kim is a great leader, and she's helping give you an opportunity and platform as well to flex that leadership skill that you have. And so you've been doing a good job, I must say, like a phenomenal job at helping me to to manage projects. So you kind of have oversight, and I like the fact that you don't it's been easy, man. I have no complaints. Like I don't feel like I'm being scrutinized for anything at Blue Scorpion. Like I know you trust me, trust is big, and
Hmm. Yeah.
hey man, here's this project here. This is what the final product needs to be, or this is what you're expected to do. I know you'll do it. You'll go out and or you'll send me out to do it, and we get it done. And so it's been a great experience, and I've been looking for a good agency to work with. I was with some other agencies that just didn't turn out to be good. So it's good
Hmm.
to be with people who have good ethics, um, good personalities, good communication, respect. Like we all respect each other. Um, and it's been great. And again, shout out to Miss Kim for leading the way, holding the torch, and making everything happen. So I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
agree.
I'm excited to
And we got
see
more stuff going on. We have more stuff coming up too, man. A lot.
Farm
And
Tour and ATL.
yeah. Hmm.
Very like very fun activities and unique. They're just unique projects to work on, and I feel blessed to be a part of it, to be able to provide my skill set to, in as little way as I can to make the vision come to life.
And I would
So
say this too, Chris. When Kim brought me along to Blue Scorpion, and a lot of things changed, and she pretty much put me kind of in charge of the video department. It was kind of hard being a leader because I was such a follower to a certain degree.
uh-huh.
And usually that's not a good or not usually not a bad thing, but when you said Kim's a good leader, she really is because she wants the best out of you for real. Like she hired you
Yeah.
to do a job, and of course you want to get the job done the right way for the client. But man, like to bring you on, it made us both look good, not just me, because she
Right.
sees how much we respect each other. Even when we shot for Delta last year, that
Oh
was
yeah.
the best. We had fun. That was the first time I met you in person because we
That
used to
was.
talk on the phone. That was the first time we met in person.
I think that
So
was the first time I met Kim too, because we talked on the
yeah,
phone. She was
yes,
like,
yeah, that was true too. Yeah, that's true
met
too.
Chauncey, we worked together. Haven't met Kim, we worked together. When am I gonna meet these guys? So we met at the
We are real. I'm a real person. But
video.
now, it's working for Blue Scorpion. I would say too. Kimberly Starks is just she's so analytically sound
Mhm.
because she already knows, especially when they go in a room when it comes to pitching videography. She knows what to do. She said, "Hey, Chris, you got it. Chauncey, you got it." She makes us feel wanted. Like she makes us feel like we're part of something special, and it is. We go
Yeah,
out to these events, like you say. I went to North Carolina, South Carolina, went to South Georgia. Around these cities that we haven't been to, but they're just as big as Atlanta. It makes you feel valued, and you want to learn more and grow more with her. And she wants you to grow even in your own business too, because some agencies don't want you to just focus on them, not focus on you.
yeah.
So I really appreciate Kim for doing that. Chris, we've talked about so much, but like, can you just before we end, just talk about like what do you ultimately enjoy about videography? Because we spent so much talking about experiences, but what do you ultimately enjoy about videography, man?
Um, I think it's a combination of things. Again, it's like it's an escape for me. I love the fact that I guess I have developed sufficiently enough to get clientele that want to work with me. I love that because now I get to again go into this world where I can create and not just for myself, but with other people and help them accomplish their goal. So like that gives me so much satisfaction. Like I woke up this morning before I hopped on here, and another one of my clientele, she posted a project that we did. Like we shot it. Like matter of fact, I shot. It was a modeling project, and when
Hmm.
you me to South Carolina to do the gaming thing or North
Yeah.
Carolina. I can't remember. I booked a model and we shot some modeling content. So I did that. I always try to utilize my time as much as I can wherever I go when I bring that camera. So even if I
Hmm.
just if I'm at a place for a couple of days and the event is only 30 minutes, I'm gonna still try and reach out to the local community and be like, hey, I'm a traveling videographer coming from out of town. We can do this with your brand or whatever. So I did just that. She finally posted it today. So just being able to meet new people and work with people and be able to exercise the skill that I have and that I love with other people. That's like that's that's like one of the biggest things I like. If I didn't have the clientele, if it was just still a hobby, uh, I think I would still be just as passionate. Like I just love to be behind that camera and create something. I love to hit record. I love being in my editing bay, Adobe Premiere Pro. I love putting something together. I love searching for music. I love not searching for effects and just doing my
Right.
um,
Want to make sure that's clear.
yeah.
Right, right, right.
I love all of it, man. Like educating the client. Like I'm even gonna like make a manual for how to handle the video, right? Because sometimes you give that project to a client, they don't know how to handle it. So by the time it's uploaded to YouTube, it's all grainy and stuff, look like it was shot in
Mm.
2002 because they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't know how to handle the digital file. Like, hey man, you need to download it from Dropbox. You need to
Yeah.
use the same copy. You need to make sure you upload in the high, like stuff like that. Like it sounds very nerdy, but like I like stuff like that, and I want to be able to educate my clientele because I want them to be able to have the best experience all the way from when they first hop in my inbox or reach out to me to when it's time to deliver and upload the project. I want it to be memorable, and I want them to say, yeah, like I like working with Chris, not just the final product, but the whole process has been smooth, and I enjoy Chris. And not that I'm like the most charismatic guy or anything, and I have my days of my own personality, but I just try to make it an experience that the client values and says, yeah, I want to come and work with Chris again. I want him to ship my product, and I think I've been fairly successful in doing that. So I love it, man. I can't wait to see. I'm trying to scale as much as I can, man. I want to be as big as I can, not for the fame, but for the opportunity. I
Hmm.
want every day, all day. That's all I want to do. So
Yeah, same. Yeah, man. And Chris, man, I really really appreciate you being on my first episode of Follow Focus. That because that's what I called it. I called it after a device that videographers and filmmakers use to turn into a way to promote people who have met or people who haven't met yet. And it had to be it had to be you, man, because we've had a um non-conventional story how we met, but these are stories that can change your life because we both critiqued each other, we both wanted the best out of each other, and that says a lot because sometimes working in this industry as a videographer, it can be lonely sometimes because everyone's it's competition. Yeah, I'm not afraid of competition, but sometimes you need to work as a team and also want the other person to grow too, and I think it was a natural progression when it comes to our type of relationship, which is
right.
rare in Atlanta because some of these videographers act like rappers, you know. Um, but no, man. Lastly, where's your website? What's your social media so we can definitely support you, man? This was all about the follow focus segment of One More Chance. Where can they find you, man?
Yes, sir. Y'all can find me on Instagram. I have two Instagram pages, Chris X Young. I also have Director X Young, Chris X Young on Instagram. My website, check out my website, directoryoung.com. Directoryoung.com just has, just a few of my best projects from each different type of main work. I do music videos, events, modeling, branding, all that. Directoryoung.com. Those are my main platforms. And, again, I'm blessed to be here. Y'all make sure y'all check out Chauncey if y'all haven't. He has a great platform. He goes just as hard as out here in ATL as I do. And again, thanks, Chauncey. Thanks for having me. I'm blessed to be the first guest on your show. I'm looking forward. I'm a fan. So I'm looking
Thanks, man.
forward
I
to
appreciate it. No,
the
I
rest of the
appreciate it.
guests and everything and the rest of the work you come out with. So I'm definitely glad to be here. And thank you, man. You're doing good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Chris. I'll see you on the next event we do with Kim or whatever we do next, man. But
Yes.
congratulations. I'm proud of you, man. Talk to you guys later. I'll see you in the next episode.
I'll see you soon. Peace.